Hey guys, it's Karen and today I wanted to do a review of the Lancome, this is the box, sorry it's a bit shiny, Miracle Cushion Foundation. I hadn't intended on buying this. My Lancome lady at my local Boots had told me that it was coming out and she was very excited about it. She said, oh, I can't wait to give you a sample. So I did think, well, I'll go in and get a sample, but it doesn't sound like my kind of foundation because it sounds like a light coverage. It sounds like well, it is a dewy finish. I like matte finish and I like full coverage, so I didn't really think I'd end up buying it. But I went to my counter to ask for a sample after I had about 3 requests from you guys to do a review, and I also checked to see if there was any other reviews on YouTube and there's only I think 1 or 2 in the English language. There's a few in Italian and other languages, so I thought I would do one. I thought I would buy it because they actually don't do samples, so she was surprised herself. They thought they were getting samples and they don't. That is really disappointing, I have to say, because it's a lot of money to spend just to try something, and especially in the UK where we can't take it back. But I'm buying it so that I can review it for you guys, and then hopefully that will help you guys decide whether or not you want to try it. So it's called the Lancome Miracle Cushion Liquid Cushion Compact, Fresh Dewy Hydration, Absolute Weightlessness and Glow. There's an SPF 23 in it, and it is basically a compact that they say isn't a foundation or a compact, but obviously it is a foundation. So it's going to be difficult to show you because it's a bit shiny. It comes in a pot like this. It looks like a pot of cream to me with the shiny top, and then you open it and it's got the sponge in it, which I've used, and then you lift this up and you've got the foundation in the sponge. By the way, the reason I'm so close up to you today is just so that you can see the foundation, because I am wearing it today. So as I said, I had a couple of reasons for not wanting this, because of the light coverage and the dewy finish, but also because of this sponge, because I have acne prone skin, and so I don't want to be using a sponge that I've dipped in, used it on my skin and then used it the following day if I'm having a breakout. So I prefer to use a brush that I can keep on washing. Now, that said, I haven't tried washing this. What I might do actually is, once I finish this review, I'm going to go and wash this, and then I'll come back and, like, later on once it's dried, and let you know how it washes up, because I often find these types of things very hard to wash. Yes. So we'll see. So the price of the foundation is £29 for the foundation in the compact. Let me show you it that way so it doesn't blind you. So £29 for that, which is about the price you'd expect for a high-end foundation. It has a refill that you can buy, so if you ended up using this foundation regularly, you don't need to buy the compact again, and the refill is £19. So I think that's really good. I think that's a really useful thing, and you basically just pop it out from the bottom. You know, there's a ring there and you push it out. So that's really, really good. I like the idea of that. There are 6 shades in this foundation, by the way, so not a huge range, but I think this shade that I've got today suits me pretty well, but there's none that are really neutral, which that's the problem I find with most foundations anyway. This one I think looks quite yellowy, and I didn't know if it would be okay for me, but actually on the skin it looks fine. So let's see, what does it say? It says Lancome's first liquid cushion compact for effortless perfection in seconds. Fresh glow, lasting hydration, weightless buildable coverage, SPF 23. It says for easy buildable coverage, apply by pressing the sponge into the liquid cushion and pat onto the face. For more coverage, press harder into the cushion to get more foundation. So I've got a demo of me putting this foundation on, which I'll insert. In fact, I'll insert that just now so that you can watch that, and then I'll talk a bit more about it afterwards. Okay, so I'm going to try and put this on with the sponge, and I'm also going to try with a brush, because although I like the idea of using a sponge, I wouldn't use this every day. I might actually also try and dip my beauty blender in it another time, but I'm going to use my Real Techniques buffing brush and this sponge. So without blinding you, this is what it looks like. It's got a cover over here, there's a mirror in there, and then that's it there. Now my colour is 01 Pure Porcelain, but again, I don't think this is very dark. However, with my tan today, it might be too light. It's not too bad. But yeah, I suspected that is a very, very light coverage. That's me putting quite a lot of the foundation on. It's quite a lot lighter, isn't it? But it does say that it's buildable, and that's what the lady that I bought it from said to me, because I said to her I was concerned that it would be too light, and she said it is buildable, so we'll see. So I'll put the first layer on with this. This is actually really nice to apply it with, I have to say. So that is layer 1. And it's very nice. It's spread nice and evenly. There's no streaks or anything like that. think this will be the right colour for me most of the time when I don't have a fake tan on. I'm going to use this buffing brush now. This is a clean one. And see how I get on like that. So I'm just pressing it in like that. Oh yeah, that's pretty good as well, I have to say. See if it's such a, you know, the same nice coat with the second layer, because sometimes that can look patchy. Okay, so that's the second layer done, and I have to say I think it's gone, I don't like the finish after that second coat. It looks very cakey on my chin. Not very cakey, it looks a little bit cakey, and on my chin I've got, where I've been using retinol, it's a little bit dry because I've had breakouts, and it's kind of clinging to the dry patches, and then here it's showing up my pores a lot. Now, to be fair, I haven't put a primer on here at all, and obviously I haven't set it with powder yet, which I'm about to do, so it might look completely different when I do that. It does feel nice on, it doesn't feel too cakey, it doesn't feel too sticky. Oh goodness, my fake tan on my hands hasn't gone so well today, didn't notice that, but yeah, it doesn't feel sticky or anything. I'll give you a closer view. So that's it around my chin. I don't know whether you'll be able to see it from there. And then again, I don't know whether you'll be able to see the pores there, but let's set it with powder and see what it looks like. What I've also got out is my Benefit Boying Concealer, and I just use 01, and I'm just going to put this around my nose because there's not, I've got red veins around here. And what it might be better doing with this is using one layer and then putting concealer in the places where you want a little bit more coverage, that red mark there where I had a blemish. That might be a better thing to do than, you know, than putting two layers on, although it says it's buildable, like I said, it does to me look a little bit cakey. Okay, on top of it I'm going to use my, this is the Clarins Everlasting, what is it called? Everlasting Compact Foundation, and mine is in 105 Nude. And I'm just going to use a light brush with this because I thought I'd need a bit more coverage, but I think I'm okay here. So I'm just using my Louise Young LY06S. And again, I chose a powder foundation because I thought there wouldn't be enough coverage. That's something else you can do, is use a light covering of the foundation and then top it up with powder foundation. And I think unless you've got very dry skin, you are going to want to powder this because it definitely leaves a sheen. And if you want more from your powder foundation, you could use a brush like the buffing brush that we used for the foundation. So that's it set with powder, and I much prefer it like this. So I'm going to wear it, oh, I've got a little hair from the brush there. I'm going to wear it today for my normal activities, and then I will see how it lasts throughout the day and what it looks like as the day goes on. Tomorrow I'll then put it on again, and that's when I'll come back to you and do my full review. Hey guys, I thought I would just pop back quickly because I forgot to ask you guys something, and I thought it would give me an opportunity to show you how the foundation is wearing. But the thing I forgot was I'm going to do an Ask Me Anything video. So I've left a Facebook message, I've left a Twitter message, and haven't done Instagram yet, I don't think. No, I'm going to do that today, and I wanted to say to you guys, if there is anything you would like to know about me at all, you can ask me anything. And I didn't want to do a whole video asking the questions because I'm going to do a video answering the questions, and I thought I'd just tag it on to the next video I do. So if you have anything you would like to know about me, anything you want to ask, then please leave the question below and I will do my best to answer it in my Ask Me Anything video. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, like I said, is just to let you see how the foundation is wearing. I have had it on now for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. I've had it on for 6 hours, and I have to say that today it seems to be wearing a lot better than yesterday, and I think that's because I've got a primer on. I'll give you a close-up so you can see. The only thing I would say is it's definitely clinging to the dry patches on my chin, which is where I had that breakout, and it has disappeared from my nose area here, but that's probably because I've been wiping my nose a lot because I was out in the wind taking Watson for a walk. So I'll give you a close-up. That's 6 hours later, and you can see that it's sort of disappeared from the tip of my nose, but yeah, that's probably more with the tissue than anything more. But here it's still looking pretty decent. I don't know whether you'll be able to see those dry patches that I showed you before. Let me see if I can get closer. Can you see it a bit there? Like I said, I've got some dry patches, and it's something that you're going to notice on the chin unless you're really close up. I think it's just that I notice it. Something that Kev points out to me whenever I've got blemishes, I say to him, well, look, it's so obvious. And he says it is so obvious when you're looking at a mirror like that. And he said, but how many people are going to be that close to you? He said, if you stand at that distance that a person's going to be out and look in the mirror, they won't see it. And so probably at a decent distance, you probably wouldn't see that. So whether or not that bothers you or not, I don't know. But anyway, I thought that would be useful for you to see how it's wearing. So you can see how it went on. I really, really liked the first kind of pass that I did on my face, and for that I used, as you saw, the sponge. And I have to say I was pleasantly surprised at this. I thought it looks like a powder puff, and I wasn't sure how that was going to apply it, but it does apply it really, really well. So I was pleased with how that works. Like I said, it will depend how it washes up as to whether or not that's something I would keep on using. But I also used it with a brush, as you saw, for the second layer. And for the second layer, I felt like it didn't, I think it's better with one layer. That's my personal feeling. You don't need to press very hard to get much foundation, which is nice. So you only need a tiny bit, because I noticed when I pushed down hard, I did get a lot of foundation, but it's still only going to give you light coverage. So even if you press very hard and put a lot of foundation on your face, you're going to get light coverage. You can build it up, and I think now that I've set it with, or once I'd set it, and I've set it this morning as well with foundation powder foundation, it looks much better. I used the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Airbrush Finish, just a powder this morning, because I wanted to see the difference between setting it with a powder and powder foundation and make sure that it wasn't, I felt it was a little bit cakey, and I think it was because of the powder foundation, or I wanted to make sure, find out if it was because of the powder foundation. So that's coverage, very, very light. It didn't break me out. Now, I only used it yesterday and today, but I would normally break out pretty quickly if I was going to from a foundation. If there was any kind of irritation, if there was too much perfume in it, it would sting my eyes. If there was anything, you know, that was going to trouble my skin, I would feel it immediately. For example, the Lancome Teint Idol Ultra Foundation has got a lot of perfume in it, and so if I say I'd used too much retinol on my skin and it was feeling sensitive and sore, that foundation would maybe sting it, that kind of thing. But this is absolutely fine and hasn't broken me out. It has a dewy finish, I would say, kind of a velvet finish. It's not luminous, but it definitely was dewy, and for me, I like a matte finish, as I say, so that's easily removed by putting powder over it. That's no problem at all. As you saw in the demo, I feel like it did show up my pores a lot, but not so much today, I would say, because today I have put on, I put a primer on beforehand. So I feel like you need to put a primer if you've got pores, because I did feel like it showed up my pores. And I also, as I said, felt like it kind of attached to little bits of dry skin on my chin. So I think you just need to be well moisturised, but it only really showed up both areas when I put on that second layer. So for me, I think my kind of conclusion from it is that, and I've put 2 layers on again today as well, is that 1 layer with powder foundation would be better if you want a little bit more coverage, or 1 layer with concealer in places that you want a little bit more coverage. But it's definitely not a medium to full coverage, and to me, it is buildable, but it doesn't build well. Even today, I can see it's a little bit patchy around my nose. I've set it with powder, I've put 2 layers on, and it's just a little bit too much. It doesn't feel like foundation on my face. It does feel very, very lightweight. It's like, you know, the YSL Fusion ink, that Maybelline Dream Wonder, I can't remember the name of it, that I just did a review on, the L'Oreal Load of Tint, I think it was called. You know, those kind of ones, the Christian Dior Air Flash. It is that same very lightweight feeling, so it feels lovely on your skin. So the big thing for me was how long did it last? That was what I was looking at yesterday, and it lasted better than I thought, I have to say, because my skin is extremely oily at the moment, and I expected within a couple of hours for it to have kind of caked up on my chin and on my cheeks, etc., and it hadn't. It lasted, I would say, until about lunchtime. So I put it on about 7 o'clock in the morning, and at about lunchtime it did start to it just looked oily. The oil had all broken through here and on my chin, and it looked, you know, it was drawing, the oil was drawing the foundation into little pools. That's happened with the Maybelline one as well, I mentioned in a recent video. So it lasted better than I thought, but it's not one that I would wear during the day, because I would need a foundation to last all day. And at that point it did look patchy. However, because it's so easy to use on the go, sorry, I'll show you it that way, it is something that you could use. And then I could have used, you know, a blotting paper on my chin and like on my T-zone basically, and then touched up with this, no problem. That's one of the kind of advantages of this, I would say, is it's something you can carry in your handbag and do touch-ups like that. So if you were going to say you're working all day and then you're going on a night out afterwards, this is a great foundation to have with you, because you don't need to worry about taking a brush and, you know, everything else and tipping it out. You can just use it straight from the compact. So I think that's really good. But for me, like I said, I wouldn't wear it all day, because I'm just not a touch-up type of person. I prefer to have one that's just there and I'll touch up with powder and that's all. So the people that I think will love this foundation are people that are looking for a light coverage. So if you like a very natural looking foundation and you also like a weightless feel, so you don't like a cakey feeling on your face and you also want light coverage, this would be perfect. As I said, if you're looking for a foundation on the go that you want to have in your bag, if you're going to stay overnight somewhere, that's another good thing. You know, you can keep it in your handbag and you've got foundation for the morning after. As for skin type, I think that this was probably suitable for all skin types, but just to be used in different ways. So like I said, if you have oily skin, I think that this would be suitable for you, but it's not one that's going to last all day and keep you oil free, and you would need to set it with a powder. If you have normal skin, I think you'll be fine with this, and it's up to you whether you want to set it with a powder or not, depending on the finish you want. If you've got dry skin, I think it would be good for you, because it is a moisturising foundation. It does say that it's got hydration in it. It continues to give you hydration, but just again, if you're putting 2 layers on, it may cling to dry patches. So it's probably okay for dry skin if you like a really light finish. So I told you it's got an SPF 23, and that is a really big plus for me actually, because it's great to have something that, say you're going to dash out the door and you want to do your makeup quickly, this would be great because it's going to give you a level of coverage foundation wise, but it's also giving you an SPF 23, so you're covered that way. I mean, you would have to put quite a lot of it on, and I don't know whether I would 100% trust that, but if you are running out the door and you're not going to be out for long and you just want to make sure you've got some protection on your face, I think that would be really good. It would be something you could just throw over your face, put on some mascara, a lipstick and go, you know. So I think that's another plus for it. So I think I covered everything. It didn't break me out. I've told you the coverage. I've told you if it's buildable, how long it lasted, skin types, price, availability. I got this in Boots. Obviously it'll be available on the Lancome site. I guess it's probably available on Sephora. Told you about the refill, didn't I? Yet you don't have to buy the compact every time. You can buy the refill. I thought I was probably going to buy this and sell it on my blog sale, to be honest, because like I said, I wasn't intending on buying it. You guys just saw my foundation collection. I've got a lot of foundations, and I've got a lot of foundations that I love, so I didn't feel the need to try another foundation. I just was doing it because you guys had requested it and it was, you know, a new product and I was interested to find out what it was like. But having used it, I think I probably will keep it for exactly that scenario that I mentioned, where if we need to go out and I want to have some kind of SPF on, I'll just throw this on, I think, as opposed to, I would normally use a powder foundation if I was in a rush. And that's exactly what I did. When did I do that? Oh, I know, the other day, when my puppy was ill, Watson, we'd taken him to the emergency vet at 6 o'clock in the morning. I then got an appointment at our own vet, and it was at 9 o'clock. And so I had some time in between, and I did a vlog. And that's him whining actually, because he's in the kitchen. I really need him to get used to being on his own a bit more, because I've been a bit clingy. So that's why he's kind of whining in there. What was I saying? Yeah, so I had a little bit of time, but I just wasn't in the mood because I was so worried about him. I wasn't in the mood for a full face of makeup. So I normally just throw on some powder foundation. This is a Clarins one. Powder foundation, a little bit of eyeliner, some lip balm, and I do my brows, maybe a little bit of mascara, and that's it. Had I had this, I probably would have put this on because I was going to be walking from the car to the vet and then back again, because then you're covered for your SPF. And I think this one is only like an SPF. Yeah, this is 15, whereas this is 23. So that's probably what I'll keep it for. And also just, it is a beautiful finish. I think it is a really pretty finish, but I'm not getting the benefit of the dewy finish because I need to mattify it because of my oily skin, but I do think it's really pretty even with the powder on top. I don't think I actually told you my colour, which is 01 Pure Porcelain, and that is the lightest of the 6 colours. I think that somebody with really light skin would struggle with this because it's not very light, but hopefully they'll come out with more colours if it's something that, you know, is popular. Just to let you know as well, I did go and wash my sponge, and I just wash it with, I put a little bit of soap in my hand and rubbed it like that, and then I rubbed it a little bit on the Sigma brush cleaning matte, and you can see it hasn't all come out. You can still see the half where I used it, but I wouldn't expect it to. They never do they? Unless you put them in the washing machine, which normally wrecks them. And then I just sat it on top of a towel that was on the radiator, but I sat it upside down so it didn't affect the towel. And it seems to have dried in perfect shape. And I'm pretty happy with that, I have to say, because I thought it would misshape it and it would be a bit odd after washing. So happy with that. So if you've got any questions at all, then please leave them below. I'm not sure if I'm going to call this a first impressions review or not, because it's a little bit more than a first impressions, but I haven't been using it for weeks. You know, let me know what your experience of this is if you've tried it, and I will speak to you again soon.